3. Hey everyone.
You fuckers.
Yeah.
One job.
It took us like 5 times last time to get it. We could not do it.
Okay,
Okay.
you want me to count you in?
Yeah, go.
Ready?
Okay, yeah.
3, 2.
Hey,
everyone.
guys, welcome to.
You guys suck. Do you want me to do it? What am I saying?
It's not even on there. Everyone.
Oh.
Hey everyone.
Hey everyone, it's me, Coco Ray, and welcome to the Queerie.
That's good.
Here's my guest.
These two bitches.
They can't do their jobs apparently. Okay, we have Coco. I'm so excited to
Our
have you
first
here.
guest.
Where is she?
I don't know.
Oh, here she is.
Here she is in her true form.
Yes, in my true
In your
form,
true
my
form.
better form actually. Would you believe?
Your better
Wow.
form.
Yeah.
Okay.
People say, when you get out of drag, do you feel insecure? And I say, yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Fair enough.
okay. Okay.
The honesty is where it's at.
The honesty, yes. So we have a bunch of questions here for you.
To get people to
Cool.
get to know you.
Yeah, to give
Really?
your perspective on queer entertainment, where you fit into that.
I'm keen as a bean.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Okay.
you
I'll
the
start.
first.
I'm the basic bitch of the group, so I thought,
Yeah, you don't know,
you know,
anything.
some questions that are like, yeah, okay, ma'am. The questions that are, you know, sort of like people would want to know about you that they might not know and they're interested in. So, first things first, what are your pronouns and what names do you go by and when?
Well, my pronouns are out of drag, he, him, in drag, she, her. Sometimes they, them, depending. I don't really mind if somebody prefers to say they, them to me. But if I'm in drag and somebody calls me he, him, it's a very quick correction. I usually go by the name Coco Ray while I'm in drag. Out of drag, it's Cody Ray. But again, like if I'm out of drag and my friends are like Coco, I usually turn around and answer. So yeah.
Is that why you chose Coco as your drag name? Because it was so similar to Cody?
Well, it was actually my nickname. So my friends always called me Coco. And
That's a lucky drag
yeah,
name. You,
yeah.
walked into it.
I know. Well, pretty much. I actually was. I was coming up with heaps of other drag names before I started drag, and I was originally actually. Here we go. I love this.
Oh, watch
I
out.
was gonna be Hot Coco to start, and I had this whole grand idea
like
of having a
that.
drag family where it was like the house of like a cafe or some
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
business. So it was
That's
gonna be
cute.
me. It was gonna be Hot Coco. Then my best friend was gonna be Skinny Flat White, and then another one of my friends was gonna be Dirty Chai. And there was something else which was quite funny, but I don't remember it right now.
How does
So-
I
Later.
not know any of this?
That's like the inside tea right there.
Babe, I cannot be trusted with a microphone. So I'm sure if I was,
Oh my
you
gosh.
probably would have heard it. You
A
know what I mean?
microphone
Fair.
and alcohol.
Very
It's
Yeah,
like the
fair.
perfect
exactly.
mix.
Very
Exactly.
fair.
So yeah,
I love that.
Long story short, my nickname was always Coco. My friends always call me Coco Ray. So yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It made more sense when I was like, oh, I'm gonna be Hot Coco, and then all of a sudden I decided to change it, and yeah, it feels right. You know what I
Does.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
If
I
it
get
feels
that.
right, it is right.
Mm-hmm. And I always thought as well, right? I always wanted to sound like a famous person, which is pure delusion. I understand.
No, I love it.
But
you-
when I
you
was younger,
should.
I was always like, when I'm famous, I'm going to be Cody Ray. And that was the idea, right? So when I decided to have my drag name as Coco Ray, I was like, I feel like I'm like
Living
related
that
to
life.
Miley Cyrus kind of thing.
Yeah. I
And
didn't even think about that.
Exactly. I found out that I'm not, which is a
Damn it.
shame.
Bit of a
But the
bugger.
idea is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in spirit.
I feel
Yeah.
like I know I have done like the pet's name in the street, and then done like a whole.
What's your drag name?
I don't have
We
one.
were talking about that
I don't have
actually our
one.
last episode.
Well, you've just explained how to come up with your first drag name. So what
Well,
would
my
it be?
first pet's name was Milo, and my first street was Cardew, so it'd be Milo Cardew, which I feel like is
That's nice.
it's a bit
I like
camp.
that.
It's a bit
It
camp.
sounds like French or some shit.
Have I perhaps practiced a signature for when I need to sign autographs when I'm famous? Yes, I have.
You absolutely
I
have.
definitely have.
Why am I not surprised? Am I disappointed?
my
Absolutely.
7-year-old
No.
me in my bedroom, like signing autographs in my little notepad.
Don't lie. You didn't
was
do
last
it when you
week.
were
It was last week.
exactly.
Yesterday.
Yeah. I love that. I can't believe I didn't know this whole story that there was going to be a cafe. I would like to be a part of it, and I would be Milo.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That works
It's
really
happening.
well.
All right, it's happening.
What can I be? The
Go on.
most basic thing.
You've got to be like caramel ice
caramel iced
latte.
latte. That's what I drink.
Yeah, see, that's what you can actually do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caramel latte, chai latte.
I feel like it doesn't. We'll work on it.
Dirty chai's fun.
You've got to be something
Yeah, that's
iced.
fun.
An iced
Ice,
baby. Or like
yeah.
caramel frap or something.
Caramel frap. That's good.
Like a really basic drink.
Caramel
a basic girl
frappe.
drink. Yeah.
Mugachino.
Mugachino. That's
Okay.
a really good one.
Baby
Yeah.
chino. Oh.
Wait, cute.
Baby chino.
But that's like baby spice.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. But you're like
Still
blonde a
super
little.
camp.
Yeah.
Blonde and little.
The
Yeah.
people could not.
Oh, I actually like
They
baby
couldn't
chino.
cope.
I'm gonna sleep on it and see how I feel.
Yeah.
I'll let
No,
you know.
I've decided on
I'll let you know.
Milo. It's
Yeah,
been- it's
Milo's.
been
It suits
confirmed.
you.
Well,
Everyone loves it.
Looks like I'm gonna have a ginormous drag
Yeah,
family.
you got to get us in the gig.
Full of absolutely delicious drinks.
Gorge. Okay, well, I have the next question. It kind of follows
Give
on
it to
from
me.
the first one. When was the first time you did drag? And how did you first get into it?
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say first time I did drag, does that mean first time I got into drag and stayed at home, or first time I left the house in drag? Because they're two very different stories.
Give us both.
Okay. All right. Well, since you pressed me for it. Well, I first started, I would say, practicing drag makeup or being interested in doing drag. Maybe like, I feel like it was 2 years ago, but it might actually be 3 because time with COVID has been weird.
I want to say 3 because I think
Maybe
the first
3,
time I saw you was the August of 2020.
which would have been close to my first time out
yeah.
in drag,
Yeah.
right?
It's actually kind of
So
recent.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
would've
fairly
thought you were
recent.
doing it for like a long time.
I mean, does singing in the shower count?
I
'Cause,
mean, I guess, yeah.
I've been doing it since birth.
Also, have I then. I'm a drag queen too.
But yeah, no, I pretty much maybe 3 years ago then started diving into drag makeup. It's always something I wanted to do. I had a couple of people like put me into drag for like Halloween parties and things like that, and I
always the
absolutely
way.
lived the fantasy, the whole shebang. But I always kind of stopped myself from, I suppose, doing it because I didn't know how to do makeup. And for me personally, that was a big thing because I really like, I suppose, looking like a polished queen.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
if
get
you're gonna
that.
do it, you want it to be like.
I
You wanna
wanna
do it well.
rephrase that,
and
actually. If
well.
I always felt like if I was gonna do drag, I wanted to make sure that my drag makeup looked cool, or
Yeah.
you know, kind of looked like I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I like started practicing makeup at home in the lounge room as they do, and I decided to spend every cent I have on just buying more makeup. And yeah, eventually, like slowly but surely, I like set all these goals to be like, cool, work out how to block your brows, work out how to do this and that. And before I knew it, I kind of had put the whole gig on.
Yep.
You know, I put a wig on and you know, worked out how to do you know, the padding and all that sort of bullshit.
Where did you learn that from? Like YouTube and or
yeah,
people
just
you
research.
knew?
No, just research. I
Yeah.
mostly just watch YouTube. Had a look at other queens on Instagram where I liked their makeup and tried elements of that
Yeah.
and lots of failure. But then, you know, held on to nuggets of things, and eventually I was able to put together my own image of what I wanted to do, kind of thing. And then I suppose that leads into me actually going out in drag for the very first time. So by the time I had like kind of accumulated some costumes and had worked out how to do my drag makeup in a way that I thought was okay, one of my friends, Harry, was like heavily involved in kind of what I was doing. We actually had a chat before I started practicing drag makeup where I was a bit lost in my job.
What were you doing?
I was a PT.
PT, yeah.
But I was just in a gym that I wasn't happy there. You know, there were lots of different things going on, and Harry and I were good friends, and so we used to always catch up for coffee, and he would offer me lots of advice. You know, and so yeah, pretty much one day we had this chat where I said, you know, I wanted to get into something more creative, and we spoke about drag, and he's like, well, why don't you just, you know, tap into it a little bit or come and see some shows? And that's when I started practicing makeup, right? And then I remember one time he came over and he saw me in full drag, and, you know, we laughed. He brought over a ring light, and I made this little video for Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah.
So cool.
And shortly after that, we went through the whole lockdown initially way back then.
Oh, the 2020
Yep.
first.
And then as soon as we came out of that, he messaged me and he was like, babe, you know, I think you've spent enough time in the lounge room.
Mm-hmm.
If you're comfortable, why don't you come along to my drag brunch that I do and just see how you like it. And that's what happened. It was a Studio 54 brunch, and I put together this whole look, and I put it, and pretty much got dropped off by my best friend Nikki, and that was the first time out in drag. That's the first time I actually left my apartment in drag that I'd done myself.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was really cool.
I didn't realize how close that was to when we first met.
Yeah, crazy.
That was end of August. It was my sister's birthday, so it was like the 23rd of August or something with brunch.
Yep.
Would have been... No, it wouldn't have been even been then, because you weren't at that brunch. You were away that brunch. It was only Lulu and BB and Chocky was there.
Yep.
I think we met on my birthday at Hey Felicia.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. And you were in your space get up.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So still, that was probably a couple of months after.
Yep.
Anyway, so still very new to it all, you know?
Yeah. Crazy.
So how did you
It
get all
is
your
crazy.
costumes and everything when you first started out? Was it just like spending money to like do the performance? Because it's so often like what you do with arts, you have to spend so much money to
It is like that,
make money
though,
and do
you know
gigs.
what I mean?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
You know what? Actually, to an extent, you don't have to spend money, but I think at that time, I had so much passion and love for
You're like, I'm
drag
going to.
that I was, you know.
You
I
get
didn't-
excited.
Exactly. I didn't want to spend money on anything else, but I slowly started like accumulating things from buying stuff online. I used to go to op shops and find unique looking items,
Smart.
and then, you know, find different things in my cupboard and pair them all up to make these new looks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
most of even looks I still wear today.
Yeah.
Like one of my looks that I'm known for, which is like my Barbarella vibe costume, is literally pieced together by costumes I found in like little cheapo stores,
that's
and I
cool.
still wear it, and people know me for that look.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much how I first accumulated it, and then I discovered what a seamstress is.
Met
thank
Mandy
Christ.
Moobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mandy Moobs came into the picture, and well, yeah. I'm
Is
still-
that the big
She is
like
she makes
seamstress for all the
a lot of
drag
costumes,
stars?
doesn't she?
Yeah, she's one of the many seamstresses we have in Brisbane. And yeah, she does costumes for most of us. The Hummingbird. If
Yeah, I was
anybody's
gonna say shout out
wanting
to
to
the
know.
Hummingbird.
They are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, they do a lot of drag costumes, and you know, Brisbane isn't huge.
Yeah.
So
it's all quite connected.
Yeah. A lot of us go and see, you know, the Hummingbird for all of our stuff because they always pull through, girl.
I love
Nice.
their Instagram. Like I'm not I can't say I'm very basic, like button can sew a button on, can like fix a little hem if I need to. But I
cannot.
love
I'm
looking
useless.
at I love looking at the Hummingbird's Instagram because the costumes are so extravagant that I'm like,
Sensational.
how did they conceptualize this from a
And do it.
drawing and then put it together and make a garment that can do like a reveal or whatever? Like it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Two
So
things.
cool. Two things.
Tits and ass. That's how.
Period.
Can't spell talent without T and A.
And I can't.
Are there any performers in the industry that inspire you or that you look up to a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There are lots of different queens. Like, I mean, originally when I first started drag, like I looked up to a lot of queens on Instagram, and especially a lot of Rue girls. So I'll give some examples.
Yeah.
Originally, I was really inspired by Alyssa Edwards.
Yeah. Camp.
Because I really love her overly camp drag, and she is a little bit outrageous.
So
in
outrageous.
kind of like everything she does, but I also love that she's so soulful. Like she has such a big heart.
Yep.
Well, for me, that's how I felt in, you know, watching her on television, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yep.
So, you know, I really looked up to that sort of dynamic of somebody that could be so glamorous, but also, you know, when it got to, they could show a little bit of heart and
Yeah.
soul to people. And I think that's so important. Queens like Alaska Thunderfuck, again,
Camp.
just completely outrageous.
So you're really into the outrageous. Like,
Yeah,
just like-
because it makes me smile.
Yeah,
And
and
I think it makes a lot of people smile.
I
Sorry.
think at the end of the day, like drag, like you just can't take it seriously. Like it is silly. It's silly.
Yep.
And having those like outrageous performers that just do silly things is what is entertaining.
Yep.
Like as much as I love someone getting up and doing a ballad or
Yep.
whatever it is,
Yep.
like a silly drag number is always the most camp. Like
Yeah,
it's
of
the most
course.
fun.
It's so heartwarming.
Yeah.
You know?
And when you're
Uh,
willing to like take the risk and be like,
Mhm.
I'm going to do this, and just
Yeah.
like do it fully out there.
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think, no pun intended, I think it takes a lot of balls for people to be like their 100% selves.
Yes.
And, you know, I look up to these people that have so much confidence, and they have indirectly helped me find so much confidence in myself to be more of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so like aside from like those girls, there are lots of local performers that inspire me. I would say a lot of the performers I work with through the brunch circle, our hosts, as well as pretty much all of our guests are people that have inspired me along the way and have offered a lot of wisdom to me. And I've taken nuggets of the things they've said, and it's definitely helped shape me as a performer, and certainly as a professional now. So yeah, like there's lots of people, but in saying that, it also changes.
Yeah.
Like as time's gone on, I found people I've had conversations with, and new performers that come on the scene, and you know, new talent that comes on the television, people I find on Instagram,
Yeah.
all these sorts of people. Just you stumble across them, and I find they just influence you in that little way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I guess that's like any creative like
Yeah.
environment, like whether you're like I don't know, singer, dancer,
Yep.
like drag queen, you kind of just take bits from everyone, and you have to, otherwise you're never gonna grow. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You see what other people do, and then you go, oh yeah, like I can take something that they've done and change it a little bit as well. Like that's
Yeah. I was just having
human experience.
this discussion the other day about how no art is truly original anymore. Like there's always, it's
Yeah.
bits and pieces of everything.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, RuPaul says it all the time in Drag Race about like the wheel, don't reinvent the wheel because it's not broken. Like every creator, whether it's like actual painting art or
Yep.
drag or whatever it is inspired by something else to a degree, I think.
Correct. I think people can have their interpretations of things,
Mhm.
but one way or another, we are all influenced by
Each other, society,
exactly.
trends, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think it's a good
100%.
thing as
Yeah,
well.
I agree.
Definitely.
Mostly.
Mm.
Mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we're not growing, we're what? Stagnant.
Oh,
Period.
I feel like I'm not in these like inside quotes that are happening. Is
Oh,
that
neither
a
am I. I'm
quote?
just going with
Oh,
it.
okay.
It's happening.
It's just
Me
we just gotta,
neither.
I just don't know if these are like little like quotes from
no,
brunches.
no. We're just
No, this is just chaos.
okay. I feel like that question kind of leads on to the next one.
Is it question number 4?
It is
That's
question.
how it works.
That was question number 3. Now this is 4, and like that's how numbers work.
It gets more intense as it goes.
It does. It does.
Sweating.
So am I.
Your arm's aching.
I
Mine,
know, I know,
this
like-
microphone's slipping out of my hand. Like
We're a really comfortable podcast. We make
Super
our guests
comfortable.
super comfortable.
How do you decide what songs you're going to perform, and what is your all-time favorite? We did have a bit of conversation about this, about a particular song. But anyways, I'll let you answer the
Are
question.
you sure you want to talk about that?
It is one of my
Um,
favorite stories, but go ahead. You
Thank
answer
so
however
much
you
for
want.
reminding me of my trauma.
Oh, you're so welcome.
You sound like my parents if they were still around.
Yikes.
Anyway, how do I choose my songs? To be honest, like it changes for me now. How I choose my songs is I think about, or I try and think about what people would enjoy.
Okay.
There is a huge element of obviously me doing songs that I enjoy and like and know. But I also like to think about what venues I'm in and if the crowd are actually going to enjoy seeing that performance, you know what I mean? Or that song. Because if I come out and like whip out a song that nobody's heard before, it might be less enjoyable for the people that I'm ultimately there to try and cheer up.
And for your own energy as well.
Yeah,
Feel the
Yeah, I
crowd's
was going to
energy.
say, I think the having different songs for different venues is super important. Like, I feel like when you go to Fluffy and you're on the stage, or like you're watching the stage,
Yep.
you're not expecting to see a slow ballad
Yeah.
type thing. You want like a party dance energy type thing because it's a club vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas there's different venues where you can do a ballad that people are going to scream and holler for.
Yeah, 100%. And there is a huge element of that, especially if you're, lucky enough to perform regularly in venues like Fluffy or Brunch or stuff like that. We have to make sure that we're doing what the people want to see.
Yeah.
In saying that, though, I would say there are some songs or some artists that I listen to that are quite popular, like Queen, Dolly Parton, all those sorts of people that I definitely gravitate towards. And I would always, put my hand up to perform songs like that kind of thing.
I was saying my drag show. What was the our drag
song that we'd perform
song
to?
We'd perform. Mine would be 9 to 5.
Oh
Dolly
yeah,
Parton.
camp.
For sure.
I absolutely love
Gets the
9 to
crowd
5.
going.
Yeah.
I love performing 9 to 5 at Kath and Kim Brunch.
Oh,
With my friend Elderflower, we do like Trude and Prue, and we do 9 to 5, and it's just so silly, and I have so much fun doing it just because it's just so ridiculous,
Yeah.
and you feel so outside of yourself.
Yeah.
That's actually quite camp.
Yeah.
But I'd say like I probably got two favorite numbers, right, or favorite performances. One would definitely have to be the True and Prue for Kath and Kim Brunch, and I always finish that brunch feeling like, holy shit, I had the most fun. That
so
for
good.
me is the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. The other number I do, which actually I've got 3. Change my mind.
Go for it.
Okay.
Tell us all.
One of my new favorites is "Baby I'm Burning" by Dolly Parton.
Oh, good song.
That song just brings out something in me where I again have the most amount of fun. So I love doing that, and I'm sure I'll get over it soon because I've listened to it so many times.
Yeah, always happens.
And "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen,
Yes.
which I do pretty much every week. But again, it's just because I have the most amount of fun doing
I
it.
do like watching you do Queen though.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that I would expect from you, but watching it, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
And I don't know, I actually don't know what it is about Queen, but whenever I listen to, any of their songs, I just fucking love it.
Yeah.
I just feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
Like
Queen's
today,
good.
the first
So
song I
good.
listened to this morning on my way to work at 5:30 in the morning was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
literally was walking down the street trying to hit every one of like that.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
feeling
just
top of the
feeling my
world.
absolute oats.
Yeah.
So good.
And the contractors on the side of the road, they're just looking at me like, what the
They're like,
fuck
oh, what is going
wrong
on?
with him?
No, they probably loved it.
Yeah.
Secretly.
It was a free show.
Yeah.
I'm
for
going to
sure.
imagine that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. We came along to one of your drag brunch performances.
I'm so sorry.
It was fucking terrible. No. What would you say are the differences between drag in the morning and drag at night?
Okay, now, this is actually very important. So you guys can hear me, right? So the difference between the two is, during the day, you have to look really good. And during the night, well, it doesn't matter.
You only have to look kind of good.
Exactly.
That's a good point. The darkness.
But I feel like
it hides everything.
yeah,
Exactly.
like I do that too though, where I put on an outfit and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good, and then your friends are like, no, but you were
be
wearing fake
dark.
tan. It'll be dark. You'll have your makeup on. It'll be fine. And you're like, okay, cool, I can go now. It's all good.
Yeah.
And all I can say is thank gosh for the darkness.
I'm
joking. I'm joking.
I'll see you at like a night performance. Be like, flashlight.
Exactly. You can test me. Test me, bitch.
I will.
Drag during the day is usually like tailored to a lot of, bigger events where we're going to attract people that are just coming for like you guys said, like a hen's party or, a baby shower or a funeral or whatever. All of the above.
Funeral. Do people come?
I
Like
have
wakes?
no idea. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Not a drag.
No.
I mean, that's what I'd
No.
want.
I would. If I die,
I mean, that's
go to
why
a drag
I'm there.
brunch.
Like,
Yeah,
sounds
I'm
so
in the
much more
coffin and
fun.
everyone's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of those events that are hosted during the day, aside from like the big festivals, etc., are usually tailored towards a crowd of people that haven't seen much drag, or they've just watched Drag Race, so they want to come and see a particular structured show where there's just games and fun little
they used
numbers
to like
and
the
this and that.
mainstream idea of drag.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly. Whereas like I would find drag at night, you're going to see a whole array of different drag performers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the vibe does change. You know, you have lots of queer people coming out to support their friends, or to go to events where maybe they're trying to raise money, for, you know, queer causes, all that sort of thing. So yeah, it is. I mean, it is a completely different vibe.
And who
I
are the kind of
suppose.
performers you'd see there that are other than drag queens? You'd see like drag kings. What were you saying? Drag kings.
Yeah, lots, babe.
Just
Like,
non-binary performers, like the whole range of people.
exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you see, you know, drag queens, drag kings, non-binary performers, burlesque performers.
Yeah.
Oh, like, I'm sure I'm missing out on a lot of different performers. I mean, in Brisbane
they're
alone.
all incredible. Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I'm like racking my brain for like even like like trans. I feel like we have a big trans community.
Oh,
like
yeah.
trans performers.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's great.
Yeah.
I
It'd
don't
be
have
great
the
if that
words.
was brought into the mainstream more.
Yeah, I
as
wish
well,
it.
like,
I wish it was. I wish it was.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like people are missing out. Where I'm like,
Mhm.
I know of this great thing, and
Mhm.
I see this great thing in my Instagram or like any kind of like, you know, content or whatever I consume is this thing, and that is like so incredible, and I think is so amazing that some people just literally have no idea exists. And I'm like, how are you functioning without knowing that this thing is here?
What's an
When
example
it's-
so people know?
Or just like like queer culture, queer entertainment that isn't Drag Race. Because I feel like Drag Race puts forward such a specific point of view of drag, and that's how I first fell in love with drag, was Drag Race. And then I exposed myself to Brisbane drag, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much more than I ever thought it was, and was exposed to trans performers, non-binary performers, people that were doing things that weren't pageant drag that I feel like is so commonly presented on Drag Race.
Yep.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just so different to what is presented on TV that I wish people appreciated a bit more. Leading on from that, I guess with like talking about the different crowds that you'd see at each event, how do you deal with the stereotype of like straight excited women acting like your best friend, or like maybe overstepping boundaries that wouldn't be appropriate in any other setting?
I think, well, first it's come with practice, for one. I think, especially in like setting, like a work setting, if I'm at brunch or something like that, you got to be careful, because you definitely don't want to upset anybody. But if somebody has crossed the boundary, the best thing I find is to always approach it with a little bit of humor, but more in a lighthearted way, because that's just how I like to approach things anyway. So I would never turn around and be like, get this and that and blah blah blah. But you know, sometimes I will turn around and flip it on its head, and I'll say, excuse me, ma'am, would you feel comfortable with me squeezing your booty hole? I didn't think so. Keep your hands to yourself, please, ma'am.
Yeah, set the
And
boundary.
they'll laugh and I'll laugh, and then I'll walk away, and then they kind of get the picture.
Right.
But I also think, yes, it is important to make sure, okay, two things, right? Some of these people don't know, which is sad, how to act appropriately around drag performers. They almost look at them like they are not people, I suppose, right? You can look at it in one of two ways. Oh my God, how very dare they? Which, yes, it is rude and it is inappropriate. But you also have the opportunity to talk to people that have never interacted with drag performers before about what is appropriate. Because it might be a lesson that they just need to learn.
Yeah, and where else are they going to learn it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, is it our job to basically ask people to respect our personal boundaries? No. However, if presented with that, and you have to kind of make sure they know it's inappropriate, you have a choice on how you want to approach that. For me personally, and I can only speak for myself, I will approach it in a light-hearted way, but make it quite stern that what they're doing is inappropriate. And how would you feel if you were, you know, touched that way?
Yeah.
Because it does. Will speak for myself. It is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I bet it would be. Like, I know as a woman going into a straight space, you get that a lot, where you're just touched, or I guess like essentially what you were saying is not viewed as a human, and you're grabbed and poked and prodded without any kind of warning or anything. which is perhaps quite similar to what you experience, just in the opposite, I guess, when you're at work getting that same treatment, which is, I don't know how I would feel in that situation or what I would do to combat that. Like, I think you take it with such grace and like, I don't know, with humour, but I don't know that I would be able to do the same thing. Like, I think I would be quite, don't touch me. Like, I don't know. It's
but
interesting.
also I feel like, you know, maybe the experience that women have had in particular as well is also like, yes, it is similar, and people should always ask for consent, whether they're to lean in for a photo or, you know, not, they should definitely not be inappropriate in any way. However, like, people should ask for consent when they touch you or get close to you, etc. However, unfortunately, it's a bigger issue in the way of, you know, if you're out just having a good time and people are literally being seedy, it is on some sort of level that it's pretty fucked up. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Which is a bit unfortunate, but anyway, is what it is. I mean,
it isn't.
It isn't. It isn't.
It isn't what it is.
It is.
I think some people are getting better at setting boundaries. Or standing up for themselves in those situations, which again, like,
it's such a fine line though, like, because I feel like for myself, I'm almost scared, or have been in the past scared to stand up for myself because men are violent. When I've been in experiences where men are violent in the cases of like being turned down or like had what's the word of like not reciprocated feelings. In the case of rejection, they get angry and then they're like, oh, well, you're just like a fat bitch anyway, and you're like, okay, but like, I don't know, it's such a fine line between like, I'm gonna set a boundary and like, if I set this boundary, I'm gonna be unsafe in this situation. It's tricky. I don't know if you've experienced that in going out or
definitely in going out. Like, even like when I first started going out, I was like 18, 19. Like, you get it all the time. You go to like Prohibition or something and you just get groped on. Like, it's gross that you even have to. And I am like, I guess, like, lucky, and it's not very common that you don't experience like a full on like someone really like, you know, like assaulting you. And I haven't experienced that. But like, even just like having to like deal with the people like being creepy and gropey, like, it's so fucked up that you even have to
set a boundary in the first place.
You even
like,
have to set a boundary.
Why do I need to draw a line for you to respect me as a human being in the same, having the same experience, going out to a club just to have fun with my friends? Why do I have to set that boundary and you don't? And I guess this relates back to like, in like a queer setting, I guess the whole aim is to have like that safe space of like, you know, you are around people who like, you know, are really open-minded and you feel safe in that area. But then, if you're working as a drag queen, you want to feel that too. You don't want to feel like, you know, you have to like worry about someone like grabbing at your butt or something. So, you know, obviously they're not coming from a harmful place. Like, you know, what a lot of people have experienced. They're probably just, like what you said, coming from a place of like, they think it's funny and they don't understand. But it's no excuse. And it's, you know, it's good that you're putting those boundaries in.
But I think that's why it's important to sometimes state to people where even they feel like it's not coming from a harmful place, it is actually in fact a harmful place. So it is so important that faced with that, and you know, I hope nobody is ever faced with that in any setting, that you have to set your boundaries. Just hope that these people have something to learn from that. I've certainly experienced before leaning in to give somebody a cuddle before asking them, and that even making them feel uncomfortable. And that for me was actually quite a good lesson in being like, you know what, actually, especially in a queer space, I find I try to, if I don't know the person personally or know their story, I will try and ask, do you mind if I give you a hug? Even in work, actually, at the gym.
I guess working in a gym would be massive for that as a PT.
Some of my clients might confide in me, and I might offer support in the way of like, I would want to show them that I care. And every occasion I do say, do you mind if I give you a hug? Because you don't know it's something that I've even learnt personally, you know, and I think, you know, I've never intended on making you feel uncomfortable, but you don't know what people have been through.
Yeah.
And your way of support could actually be very triggering for somebody that has
absolutely
fucking gone through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Like,
Mm.
it's just, I don't know, a very hard thing to navigate because it does come from ignorance in some instances, but I guess taking that small moment to educate them can help.
Make a difference.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your personal training just then. So do you find it difficult to transition from your work as a PT to being like a drag queen on stage performing?
I mean, maybe originally. But funnily enough, I would say originally it was only difficult to transition into that because I wasn't fully accepting of who I was as a person, I would say. And I want to explain that a little bit further because it sounds kind of funky. But I would say the transition was difficult because I actually I thought there was a huge difference between my day job and going in and jumping into drag and going out and performing. When in fact, after a little while, I discovered me in drag is just me out of drag, just being my most fun version of myself. So as soon as I kind of discovered that and I was like, you know what? Who I am is both these individuals. I'm not different.
Yeah.
It's just when I put all this costume on, I go out and I automatically just tap into that more fun side of myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say originally it was actually quite difficult, and I had a hard time going around and people being like, "What are you doing this week?" and me being like, I'm working at this gig." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found it was awkward, and I didn't want people to judge me. But then I did have a moment to myself where I was like, "Wait a second, like you're judging yourself."
Yeah. Why?
You know, like you are literally judging yourself here. These people, if anything, if somebody, you know, has a problem with it, you just won't speak to them again. They won't talk to you anymore, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
That's a very confident way of thinking.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people don't have that way of thinking.
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like,
But
you know, you still feel like there's like the stereotypes and you have to follow them.
for sure. And you know what? There absolutely is.
Yeah, but that they shouldn't
There
be, you know?
absolutely is. But in saying that, every time I've actually been forthcoming, I've been proven wrong, which is actually the best thing. And, you know, there's little things I've adjusted to purely just to get out of that mindset myself, because I actually had a problem with the fact of I was concealing the best parts of myself.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, me in drag and my personality and how it comes out in drag is what I believe to be the best part of myself.
Yeah.
And those are the parts of myself that I actually love, you know,
Yeah.
because it makes people happy, makes me happy. It's creative, all these
Creative
sorts of
art form, yeah.
things. You know what I mean? And so there were like little things like, it sounds so stupid, but like expressing myself in the way I dress out of drag, expressing myself in having my nails painted, wearing jewelry, were all things I never used to do because I thought it painted a picture of myself because I was judging myself.
Yep.
So through that transition, I was a bit stubborn with myself, and I kind of thought, you know what? Get over yourself because people don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, through that journey, I would say I do not have an issue
Yeah.
with the transition at all because, you know, the people who are around me, especially at the gym, will know I'm exactly the same in the gym with my clients as I am in drag, except when I'm in drag, I walk around and I'm like, oh, a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
I can testify to that. Like,
Yeah.
being with you out of drag versus in drag, I don't see a difference. Besides, you know, maybe a massive wig and a costume, but personality-wise, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Coco's a little bit uglier though.
I was gonna say a little bit uglier. I was gonna say a little bit sassier, but
Just a tiny bit.
Well, that's what the makeup and hair will
Tiny.
do to you.
Yeah.
I feel sassy when I do my
that's very
makeup
true.
and hair. So
Yeah.
if
That's
you do
very
a whole
true.
nother
Vibe.
level of it,
It's
you got
the
to.
vibe.
Yeah.
It's the vibe.
But I think, and oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but there's one thing that RuPaul says, which I really enjoy because I believe in it fully. And she always says to queens, the power you have in drag, you can harness
Out of drag.
out of drag. I'm pretty sure she says that. You've heard
Yeah,
that on
yeah,
the show?
some kind of variation of that.
Exactly. And you know what? It is actually so true. You can take elements of yourself that might be brought out in other ways, whether it's a day where you go out and, I don't know, you do something for yourself that makes you feel good and you feel that power within yourself. You can harness that whenever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that sort of experience. And I do feel everybody has that within themselves.
That's
You know
so
what I mean?
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Oh my God, he's so inspirational. Watch out.
Wowee. A queer icon, if you will.
Iconic.
Stop it.
Cher could not.
She could never. This is a question I'm actually really excited to ask because I was there for it. I was there for the moment. 2021 Queer Sisters Smackdown.
Who is she?
Who is she? Who is she? Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that was and your experience with it?
Oh, I'll tell you all about it.
Please, I can't wait.
So basically what Queer Sister Smackdown is a competition in Brisbane based at the Sportsman's Hotel, and it's a amazing competition put together by Chris White and everyone at Sporties for pretty much any performer, whether you're experienced or very new to the scene, to go on there, challenge yourself and show people kind of who you are as a performer in a competition setting.
All performers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely every performer, which is what Sporties is fabulous for.
Yeah.
It gives everybody in a queer space a stage to go and start their career or whatever they want to do. It's
a lot of exposure.
That's really cool.
Oh, it's amazing. And, they give opportunities to everyone.
Yeah.
It's my experience. Well, you know what? It was quite interesting. It was very, very stressful. But I pretty much one of my drag sisters, Lulu, dropped to me that I should think about doing it because she won the year before, and I was like, yeah, okay, I might. So I decided to do it because it was one of my goals last year was to do a competition, especially coming from a competition background in what I was doing with the gym stuff. I like the idea of competitions because I know that it gives you a bit of a platform to challenge yourself, and when you're challenged, you usually grow, which is good.
You got to challenge yourself.
Look out. So pretty much my experience was quite turbulent.
Oh, it was the most camp thing ever.
It was quite chaotic and turbulent and fun and camp and good. So what had happened, okay, let me tell you all about it.
Please do.
Was I was in the competition and I was doing just okay, and I literally had to do...
I don't think that's true. I think you were doing more than just okay.
Look, I was trying to do the most.
I think you were doing quite well.
And this little thing happened which was quite camp, was I was put into dance rounds, and for pretty much to give you context, I cannot dance.
Neither can I.
I try, and I really think the execution's there, and I can pick up some stuff.
I think you do what you can do well. You don't push yourself more than your ability.
100%. And I was put into dance anthems, and I did the most camp silly number ever.
Which one was that?
It was like a mixture of...
Was it the Destiny's Child with the groups? No, that was groups.
No, that was groups. I did like a combination of Gangnam Style.
I remember. It was
the
camp.
Catch Up song and Single Ladies.
Yes.
And
okay.
what's... No, that doesn't give anything away. The Harlem Shake.
Yes.
All mashed into one, right?
Jeez.
And oh god, it was so
That's
much
a lot.
fun, and it was so silly.
It was very good.
But
it was
then I
very
had to
good.
do a lip sync battle, and long story short, I was really bad. It was a bad lip sync battle. I was not great, and I got booted out of the competition. Yeah. But then what had happened was we had a wild card round. And I came back in and I won that.
So wildcard is basically like where all the people that have been eliminated in the competition so far come back, get to compete for a spot. So there's one spot back into the competition.
Yeah,
you redeemed yourself.
You came back for that.
Yeah, so I came back for wildcard, and I had this stupidly camp number planned where I was I did a duet by myself.
It was so good.
So
what was it?
I was
What duet?
half Zac Efron and half Gabriella.
Oh, so good.
And,
was it Breaking Free?
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
And I did the duet by myself, and we did some lifts, just me and my other half, as we'll call it. And yeah, it was just camp and fun and cool.
It was so good.
And then
so good.
And then I got back into full drag. Like I painted the other half of my face back on and did a lip sync battle. So I got back into the competition, and then
was that the Hulk night?
No.
Sorry.
Then I did semi-final, and I did a She-Hulk number.
Yep.
and I won that week.
Mhm.
And then I did the grand final, and I ended up winning the whole competition, which was quite fun and camp and good.
It was.
But that competition was by far, it was extremely stressful, but I actually did learn so much about myself.
Yep.
And it pushed me like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And I literally did every single round in that competition. There was nobody that had to do, there was literally nobody that had to do Meet the Queens, team rounds, themed round, wild card.
And then everything from there.
everything.
Finals, semis.
Wow.
I literally had to do
You smashed
everything.
it.
So yeah, I was super proud of myself
That's cool.
for that. And you know, it was also hard. It was a very hard time in my life. I was going through a breakup, which was very, very hard. One of my friends passed away towards the end of the competition. But you know what? It was actually quite good because it allowed me to, especially at the end of the competition, it gave me like a little bit of extra drive.
Yep.
To
It's like I'm gonna do this.
yeah, and you know what? I went into the final of the competition being like, obviously I want to win this, but it was actually more important to me to do something that I was very proud of.
Yep.
And that's ultimately what I did
Yeah.
in that competition.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of walking away with a belt and like flaunting it and being like, hey everybody, look, I'm a winner. And yes, I did play it up because I thought that was camp and funny. And you know, that's what you do sometimes. However, I stepped away from it learning so much about myself, and I was proud, especially proud of myself for getting through that when there was also so much other shit going on.
It's not just the competition, so much more.
Yeah.
I remember
exactly. So-
having a conversation with you before the grand final about the number that you did in the grand final. And you told me that it was for you. You didn't want, that number was picked out so long ago. And it wasn't for anybody else. It was for you. And
exactly.
I think I've got it recorded on my phone somewhere. But watching that performance, I could tell how passionate you were about it. And it was just, all of the feeling was there. Like it was a big ballad number, just for context. And it was incredible. Like it was genuinely, I think, one of the best performances you've ever done.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't know, I just felt it, and I felt that you were in it for you. Like, yeah.
And that's the thing. And, you know, the funny thing is a lot of people after that, they didn't really think that number made sense.
Yep.
Which is fine. It didn't have to make sense to them because there were a couple of people that I had told what it was about too, and they understood what it was about. But yeah, like you said, more importantly, I actually walked out on that stage to do something completely for
yourself.
myself.
Yeah.
It was not for anybody. It wasn't for the belt, wasn't for money, was nothing for me. And that's exactly what I did. So yeah, it was quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And you know what? I do love experiences like that. As much as I kind of hate that life sometimes is quite turbulent and challenging, and I put myself in positions like that, I purposefully do it because I know that it's the only thing that really helps me keep on keeping on in the way of, you know, challenging myself and growing. And I honestly don't want there to be a time in my life where I'm not in a situation where I'm like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
What am I doing
This
to
is
myself?
too much.
Because, you know, you just find a version of yourself after that where you're like, oh, okay, that's camp. I grew. Fun. What's next?
Have you gotten a lot of experiences out of that? Like a lot of things have come up, or?
I mean, I suppose, well, yes and no. I've been lucky enough to be put into a venue, be put into a circle.
Which venue is that for the listeners?
Well, pretty much at Drag Brunch and
Drag
Hey
Brunch,
Felicia. I've been lucky enough to be given the opportunity. Not that, okay, it's a combination of luck, but I also have worked very, very hard.
Oh, you absolutely
as well.
have worked
So
for it.
It's the connections, it's the luck, it's the talent, it's so many things.
Networking is also work. Like
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like, the thing is, like, I did actually bust my ass to be in that space. So, yes, it's a combination of that, So, I would say, yes, like, the competition did lead to me, I suppose, more people knowing about my drag, and, you know, it helped me grow my following. I've met so many amazing people that ended up coming along to support what I was doing because they loved the sort of performance I do. But also at the same time, like, I was already lucky enough to be in spaces where, maybe people would do SmackDown and a couple of competitions to get recognized to do stuff like that. I don't know. I think that's all I've kind of got
Yeah.
to say about it. Sounds like kind of a dicky thing to say.
No, I
Not
don't think
at
so.
all.
Yeah, but yeah.
Smashed it, and you
You
got
won.
experience.
You got that belt.
and you got that belt. Have you still
Got
got the
that
belt?
Not for long.
Is it hanging
No,
up somewhere?
no, I had to.
Oh, is it?
We had like the longest season because of all the COVID lockdowns and stuff like that. It like dragged on for 27 bazillion years.
Yeah, it went for ages.
For so long. But you know what? It's actually okay. Because the belt didn't match any of my decor anyway.
Yeah,
So I
true.
was happy to give it
Yuck.
back.
Take
And
it away.
they're going into the new. I think they just announced the lineup for the next.
Yeah, they've just announced it.
SmackDown.
And there is a shit ton of drag queens. And I am so excited
Yeah,
because
it'll
there
be
are
good.
so many different performers, so many amazing performers.
There's a lot of people that I am not overly familiar with as
Mhm.
well, which I'm really excited about
Yep.
seeing. Is just like a new group
It's
of
a new
people.
wave.
A new group of people.
New wave of performers coming through Brisbane. You've got so many brand new queens, people that have hardly performed in Brisbane,
That's awesome.
and you've got some more experienced queens in there. And I'm sure it's going to be very, very camp, and I'm so excited to see what these people do.
yeah.
So when is that? Where is it? What date?
It's
Well, we'll put it
starts
on
in a
our
couple
socials.
of weeks.
yeah.
Cool.
I don't know the date. I
Yeah.
should know because I am
That's
going to be at
alright.
Meet the Queens.
Oh, nice.
But have a look on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Sportsman's
Yeah.
Hotel, Meet the Queens. Come
Support
along.
it.
You'll see me there. Buy me a drink or not. It's up to you.
So this is something we're going to ask all of our guests.
Mm.
And it's going to be kind of our traditional question.
Please ask me. I beg.
Okay, you're the
beg.
first one to answer it, so it better be good.
Pressure. Pressure's on.
What makes you most proud to be queer?
What makes me most proud to be queer is being surrounded by so many open, accepting people that have literally brought me in any way, shape, or form. That makes me very, very proud because it has allowed me to show people that aren't queer how much love and acceptance there is, in the world, in our community, and that no matter who you are, you can be whoever you want to be.
Mhm.
You can shine as bright as you want. You can...
Be you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100% be you. And there will always be a space for you. The queer community is so diverse, and there are so many different areas of the queer community that people fit into. And it's important for all of us to know that if you haven't found your people yet, you will. And there are people out there for you that will love you and accept you no matter what. So there's a little voice deep down there in you where you want to scream, whatever you want to scream, please do it,
Yeah.
because you never know who you're going to influence. You never know who you're going to make smile. You never know how much you will make other people's lives brighter and better. So be queer, be you, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I think
So good.
the queer community is such a space for unconditional love that a lot of queer people don't get elsewhere because they are queer.
Yeah.
And when you step into a queer space and you receive that for the first
Mhm.
time, it is truly like no other feeling. Just getting that like pure acceptance is just amazing.
Exactly. And I would like to say as well, because I have been somebody that's even been in queer spaces and not felt accepted, do not give up hope on finding your people, because you will find them.
Yep.
They will be there, right? It doesn't matter if it takes weeks, months, years. Keep hope in your heart, because your people will be there and you will know when they're there.
Yep.
Trust and believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you will shine.
I agree with that. What a nice way
it.
to end the episode.
Shine, shine, shine.
Shine.
Inspirational queen. Thank you
Oh,
so much for coming
yes.
on.
Thank you so
as
much.
our first guest. It was amazing.
Where can we find you? Instagram.
Yeah, plug yourself.
Plug anything you've got going on.
So you can find me on Instagram. It is Coco Ray _. On that profile, I will supply you with many selfies.
Gorgeous.
Lots of silly content, some serious content, which never happens. And all the
good
stuff and
vibes.
things, and you've just got to do one thing if you want me to follow you back, and that is send nudes.
I love it. I love it so much.
Actually, can I just add in a little bit more to that?
Yeah.
If you're gonna send nudes, just make sure it's either like, maybe MAC or L'Oreal, maybe Kimchi Beauty, Trixie Cosmetics. They do most of the nudes I like. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, that's
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the pod. So happy.
Thank you for having me.
It was so good to
It
hear
was so good.
from you.
Yeah, that was a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Loved it. Thank you so much. Let's do a little clink with our glasses.
Clink. Okay, ready.
Thank you for the mimosas.
Oh,